Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Show Football Show, or should I say, good evening. I hope you are all doing well. Oliver says the awesome foursome, Joe, Jack City, Lockie, and Luke. Yeah. Honestly, probably missing Andrea, and this is your most goated Leeds content creator lineup you've got, really, basically. So we're just one man down, but this awesome foursome
Where is he?
Good enough.
Where is he, Joe? Tell him again. Where is it?
Watching basketball, any whatever that shite is. Do you know what I mean?
I tried watching that on telly once, and I couldn't do it squeaking sneakers everywhere. It was doing me head in.
Yeah, man. Do you know what I actually played? Do you know when I was in high school, man? I played
basketball. There's no chance you play basketball.
Bro, I swear to God, right? I swear to God, look, listen, because I'm about what? I'm 5'8" now, so fuck knows what.
I mean, you added that's on your Tinder profile.
I have a girlfriend now, mate. I'm taking. There's none of that. But no, I did honestly. Point guard, the guy who just stands in. Oh man, it was embarrassing, man. He used to play this place called Rishworth, right, which was a boarding school. But Rishworth, because it was a boarding school, would get like top tier, you know, like athletes from like China and stuff like that coming over. So I'm there. Fucking 6 foot Chinese lad popping it off to fucking 9 foot Russian and that. It was embarrassing, but hey, it is what it is. I just love sport, but I was shit at basketball, to be fair, as you can imagine.
I think basketball's easy to be good at and just rock hard to be like mint at. It's like one of them things where you can like bounce it about a bit, and then when you're actually playing with somebody that plays basketball, you're like, oh no, this is actually a sport. This I thought it was just just a bit of like free shoots at hoop.
There was our PE teacher was called Mr. Kane. He played for Sheffield S. I don't know. They were a basketball side, and he used to be able to do this thing, right? Potentially from one end of court to other, right? He would. We used to play, right, and he'd spin it round, and it'd go like round his back, and he'd go bang with his elbow, and it just like that, man. He was pretty sick, to be fair. Yeah, and he was massive. But anyway, enough basketball, man.
Can he play in the 10, Joe?
Yeah, potentially.
Make a good goal, eh?
Yeah. We're going to be getting into transfer stuff tonight, obviously, because I guess the title is, should we stay calm or should we panic? I'm low-key on the slow, like, hill of panic. I'm at the bottom at this moment in time, but I'm seeing all our competitors signing players. Now, sometimes people take what they want from a tweet, for example. So I mentioned earlier on, I was frustrated that a team had bought Isaiah Jones, and everyone come back at me and they go, well, he won't get in our side. No, that's not my point. My whole point was that others are signing players, and we're being told we're going to have a quiet window. We've seen Enzo Lafie go to Sunderland. That looks like it's happening. We've seen business at Sheffield United, Ben Brereton Diaz and others coming in. Burnley have already done some action. Oh, well, none of them are getting our side, but that's not the point. For me, Leeds United need to strengthen, and all the noise we're hearing is that we might see Gelhardt go out, and even that might be contingent on Paddy Bamford's injury. And it's like, in 2025, no player leaving should ever be contingent on if Paddy Bamford's fit or not, if I'm being honest. I know some of us like him, but it should just not be contingent on him being fit. I think we are a Pirro injury away from a catastrophe, regardless of what the tacticos will tell you. Mateo Joseph, for me, is not ready. He is not ready. We are a Brendan Aronson injury away from no 10. You know, these people that want to say, oh, it's easy to just play in the 10 if you're a wing. I don't think it is. It's a specialist position for a fucking reason. Doesn't matter if you've got a low center of gravity or whatever. It doesn't mean you can operate in the 10. Like, it's not that easy. Not everyone's fucking Messi who can just play anywhere. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is. And then I also think we've got issues at centre-back. Obviously, if we have a big injury there, or just defensive line. Yeah, like Bowie Doctor says, Rodon injury, then what? We don't have a right-sided centre-back. We're then asking Stroud to play, then probably then putting Vauber in at left-back. And what if Firpo don't come back to his best? We're playing Byram there, and then it's like, So I think for me, it's pretty negligent if the club do not do something about it. We saw last January, I would argue, A lot of people will say, you know, the manager ballsed it up, and we can argue that he did because he didn't rotate enough and all that sort of stuff. But we bought one right back who couldn't usurp Archie Gray. Yes, he had some moments, but we didn't do enough. And you look at the players we were linked to, David Brooks, Joe Rothwell, Keith Moore, they all went to other sides, and the other sides all got promoted, and we got left in the Championship. So I think for me, if the club do not act, I think it is so negligent. We're looking at Darlow, DeBayo, Joseph, and whoever you want as a number 10. I think we're lacking. I do think we're lacking. Andrew says negligent. That's a bit dramatic. I don't think it is, and that's why I've brought people on, so I wasn't just chuntering on to the comments, so they could give me their opinion on it, because I think it is negligent. Because if we did have an injury, then what? And then, but I also feel as well, you've got to, sorry to rant, lads, before I bring these in. I've seen people say, we need a 10, we need this, we need that. And they're now saying, no, we don't, we've got enough. Like, I'm just so confused. They change their opinion more than they change the fucking underpants, to be honest. It's frustrating for me watching it unfold. I think those that are saying that we don't need any players are saying so because they're waiting for the manager to fail. I say, well, he had all the tools. Every manager needs extra additions. Pep at City, they're already busy. They're bringing in a centre-back. They're bringing in Mamouche on the left. You know, they're being active. Everyone should be active. So for me, just sitting on our hands, it's not good enough. And I think we need to be active. We need to be active. Negligent definition is failure to take proper care over something. So it's the perfect word if we don't sign players. Thank you very much for that. Jack, I'm going to come to you because normally you are very placid. You do like to take a step back and have a think and, formulate your opinion. So am I being overreactive?
Not yet. But I think I've never seen you calm. So when you said, should we stay calm or panic? I think, well, I've never seen you sort of, just flat. No, I'm only messing. But I don't know if it's negligent or not, to be honest. I'm like, I definitely, obviously want strength. The more we can bring in, the better. And the idea that Farke don't want him in, I really don't want to go down this line again where somebody overheard Bielsa saying that he likes a tiny, tiny squad. And then from that, it means he never wants a new signing in the door. I think it just means he doesn't want a giant load of dump in his side. Just a load of nonsense players where you've just got to manage everybody. Then they're never getting anywhere near the squad. They're just getting in way. What's the point in working with them? You're wasting your time. We are going up as well. I know nobody likes it, but the 49ers, for instance, like I think the keeper, I honestly think it'd be a total waste of time bringing a keeper in January. I honestly do. I know everybody. I do, honestly. I know everybody wants Mez out desperately and he has to leave the club immediately. His contract needs terminating. But who we're going to bring in? And everybody says, we can go get an half-decent one. Would we not be better off with a keeper waiting? There's only a certain amount of money we can go out and start splashing into. And I also think the 49ers are definitely calm about it. So I'd have 11 players if they were all better. Do you know what I mean? I don't really care who plays for us, as long as I do go down the line of not just for the sake of it. I don't just want some new toys in to play with, for Christmas time. It's not like, I don't know. We need some players. I would say we will always need players. Every team needs some players in. I'm well up for it if we sign someone. I think it adds loads of energy. It adds loads to the squad. It boosts everybody. Everybody's a bit more on the toes. It's fresher. So I'm definitely up for bringing some players in. I just not just for the sake of it. But I don't think the 49ers will do that. And I don't think you're saying that, in fairness. It's not just,
I don't
get anyone in.
Yeah, no.
So that'd be my only the only other side of it that, I agree.
Are you listen, I'm not advocating selling Millie. I don't think you'll get a buyer in January anyway, but are you advocating then just giving Darlow the opportunity and hoping it wins out.
Well, what's the point in why did we ever get him?
Yeah, no, I
Do you know what I mean? It's like if he's not good enough, they're not really asked to do a great deal, are they? In fact, that's been the frustration with Mez, in fairness. He's not been asked to do a ton of stuff. It's just the odd little bits that it's like, oh man, do you know what I mean? You've just got to be of a certain standard. Now, I know people are saying you can just go out and get that keeper that'll just be decent for us. But I don't think the 49ers are going to be like that. No. I don't know, to be honest, with Mez. I personally think he'll, and I'll get pelters, I don't care. It's just what I think the club will do. I think he will end the season being our number one. And I think, because I said the other week that I think he'll be the number one in the Prem. And I think that could not be the case now. I would say that. But I think he'll end up being the number one again. I just think he needs to be pulled out of firing line. And I think he'll end up back in the squad.
Oh, God. Like, see, on the Mez situation, I don't want to do too much, but I genuinely feel if he were to make another error, he'd get booed. I think he'd get booed.
Yeah,
Luke, you regularly go away and that. Do you reckon that could? I think it could happen if he.
I think it's breaking point now, mate. I think it's come to that stage now. And look, I'll support any Leeds player and ultimately try and see a positive in most situations. But I think it's got to a stage now, and you've only got to look at that short video and that snapshot of Pirro, Rodon, and Rothwell just looking back at him, and that can't transition into the rest of this season, because if confidence is now starts, I said it last night on our pod, if that confidence has transitioned into the outfield players where we're really good, that's where we could have a real hiccup and a real problem going into this stage of the season, because this next month or so is going to be key for all these top 3 or 4 sides, because the one or two of us are potentially going to drop off over this next month. And I sort of agree with you both and disagree with you both within certain parts there. I don't necessarily think it's negligent, John. I know you've determined the actual meaning and you've used the Oxford Dictionary, but I don't necessarily think it's negligent because we've got to this stage this season without any backup for those positions. So we're top of the league. We've had backup to this stage. So what difference does it then make for another 4 or 5 months? Do you see what I mean? If we can make it this far without those backup, what's to say we can't do it for another 4 or 5 months? So don't necessarily think it's negligent. People are saying right centre back. I've already mentioned before we started that. Sorry,
I'll let you finish. Go on, mate. Sorry.
No, you're all right. Gilavugi can play there at right centre back quite comfortably, I believe, from his history. I actually think my biggest worry across the back 4 is left back, because if Junior Firpo doesn't sign a new contract, he's not going to be giving his all. But if he's signed as a pre-contract to go back to Spain or wherever he goes, he's not going to want to give his all every week in, week out for us, is he? I mean, ultimately he's a professional and should do, but would you, if you had a job waiting for you and you got injured and whatever? That's my biggest concern. He doesn't trust Schmidt for whatever reason. And the other options are Vober, who probably not a left back anyway, realistically, or Byram, who's made a biscuit. So that's my biggest concern, is actually fullback and going into this second half of the season when pre-contracts can be signed, and I suppose for Firpo. I would like to see us offer Firpo another year at least, but I don't think he'd accept that. I think he'd be able to get 2 or 3 on the continent. So, in terms of other positions, I don't think wing, central midfield, absolutely confident in those positions. I think we're stacked as long as we don't lose anybody and nobody comes in with a silly bid for, Dan James the last minute or somebody like that. It can happen. We've seen it. I think 10 we could do with somebody. I really do. I think Aronson's done well there, and people will completely disagree with me but I think he's done his job very well there. I don't necessarily think he's been outstanding, and I think there's parts to his game which do need improving. But he's got a goal return, and he works very, very hard in defence. Up top, as you say, I think if Pirro, if anything happens to Joel Pirro, we've lost our bagsman, we've lost our goal scorer. Joseph can happily come in, and I won't go into the Joseph stuff because it's a little bit of a bugbear of mine right now. But I think he can come in and do a job, but do I think he's going to get us double figures this season? Absolutely not. So then we have a concern at scoring goals, whereas actually we're the highest scorers in the league. Do you know what I mean? If we start losing your best goal scorer, we're absolutely knackered. So, I sort of agree with you both and disagree. And on the Medley situation, I just think he needs taken out firing line. Whether or not it's a sale, I don't think, as you rightly say, Joe, I don't think we're going to sell him this window. His value is going to be at an all-time low, so it would be daft to sell him now. But see how Darlow gets on for now. I don't think we're going to bring anybody of a good quality. And who's going to want to leave a Premier League side as their second choice goalkeeper to come and maybe have a few games in the Championship? Do you see what I mean? So, tough one, mate. Really tough one. I'd be sad to see Joffrey go. I think he deserves a bit of a crack as well. I think arguably probably offers more than Paddy Bamford these days. So, yeah, it's going to be a weird one. Do I think we'll strengthen? In short, no. But having said that, do we really think the 49ers are going to be sending a message out saying, yeah, we've got loads of money, we need to strengthen in these positions, we've got, we're going to spend 20 million we're going to support Daniel Farker?
Time though, man.
Sorry?
Never set up time. Like, what do you think they're going to do? Tell everyone they got money? For me, this is an institution that sold the most in the world, right? We brought the most money in the world. Now, I think the recruitment up to this point has been bang on, but I'm sick of our football club just not doing enough, just not pushing the envelope that little bit further. I think, I know you've mentioned, to be fair, you are right. I suppose we've had key injuries to certain personnel. We're still top of the league and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, that's fair enough. But why should we have to be in a position where we go, oh, well, he can do a job there and he can do a job there? Why, Luke? Do you know what I mean? Why can't we just go and get fucking players?
Well, I think if it was that easy, we probably would, Joe. But I think for me,
others are, though. I think it is easy. I genuinely think it is easy.
But you look at the Sunderland situation. That's an anomaly, isn't it? He loves it. And I wouldn't really. This is to sort of expand on Jack's point. I wouldn't want to bring somebody in that doesn't improve us immediately. Why would we want to do that? Why do we just want somebody who can be there? Why? It's similar to Bielsa. He didn't want to bring anybody in who didn't immediately improve that squad technically, or whether that was in other areas. And I think Farker's very much of that same ilk. He doesn't want to bring somebody in that potentially could upset the camp. I'm not saying they would. They could also bring the opposite. They could bring a bit of a buzz to the camp. But ultimately, why would you want to bring somebody in that isn't necessarily going to be pushing for a starting spot? And unless we can bring that level of player in, then why? What do you just want a third choice, a fourth choice, just in case? I don't really get it.
No, I want a backup 10 for sure. I want a backup.
I think that'd be my main point, main position.
Yeah,
but in fairness to Aronson, sorry, boys. In fairness to Aronson, he's done. If we'd have got Aronson, I said this at the start of the season. Like everybody, well, not everybody, but majority of people that were sort of sensible about it thought, well, that bringing him back in is a decent signing, isn't it? If we just knew nothing about him, that'd be a decent signing. So if we can't, can we get anybody better than Aronson?
I would hope so. Or someone who offers us something different.
I think it's different in the 10 spot for me because I think Joe, I think you're right. Somebody who can move players around and I don't know how many of these people there is. I know there's similar, exactly.
It's really, and the other teams are actually getting players, wingers, centre backs, centre mids out there. There's a lot more of them. The number 10 and the number 9. And, you could argue a proper mint keeper. And we don't need a proper mint keeper. We just need somebody that can keep it out net every now and again. But a number 10 and a number 9 is really hard to get, isn't it? And I'm not excusing that. I just don't know who you get in as backup over Aronson, who is doing a decent job. Now, I know we're saying if Aronson gets injured and we've got a serious problem, because there's a reason in the same breath, we all think that none of them can just come from the wing and go into centre. Yeah. There's loads of wingers in that league that you'd think, oh, well, let's go get a winger. But we don't need one.
Yeah. I agree. Obviously, when I was doing the video, honestly, getting a 10 that is of the level and not too good for the league is difficult. It's so hard. Honestly, it is difficult. There's probably one or two in each league that are viable at least. But even them, you know, it's a rare position. It's a hard position to be a key player in because it's not really a natural position. You know, it's one that got developed recently, I guess. So it's a tough role to fill. But for me, just looking at the squad, we have the smallest squad in the league, and I don't like that. That doesn't sit right with me. I don't want the biggest. I don't want the huge one. I just want one or two more. 24-man squad we've got. Now, you think about it, it's 11 go out there on the day. 2 of them are goalkeepers. One of them's Bamford, who's never fit. One of them's Joffe. That's not loads of depth, really. It isn't at all. It's the smallest squad in the league. Just looking at if they bring in Lefebvre, and obviously if they keep Bellingham, they've got 6 or 7 midfielders there, and they all play 3 midfield. It's good backup. Burnley have got really good, like 3 or 4 different defenders. I want our depth to be players that are already in the starting 11. For example, Ampadu can go in defence, yes, but he's our 6, and I want him to stay there. You know, I don't want Vober at left back. I want him to be our centre back. You know, I want our depth to be players that are on the bench and not already in our team. I don't want our backup 10 to be a winger that is already in the team. I want it to be a number 10, if that makes sense. Like that's like we do up front. Our backup striker is Joseph, right? Fine, yeah, we've got a striker there. That's all right. But for me, there's too many movement when it doesn't have to be. So if we get an injury to a centre back, and touch wood, that doesn't happen, you are then moving your best number 6 out of the 6. Whereas you could bring in a decent player at centre back. Does that make sense? That's kind of what I want in each position. Now, in midfield, we are that. But if we take Ampadu out of there, we only really have a Guilavogui on the bench as a midfielder. So I like the fact that we have a Rothwell and a Guilavogui on the bench. But then you look at the centre-back options. If you're keeping the midfield as the midfield, you're looking at De Gea, who I personally don't think is ready yet. It is short, and Luke's right. Even full-back, like what's happening with Firpo, Vober is the backup there. He's also the backup centre-back. And then you've got Byram, who we know cannot play so many minutes in a week. It's not a lot. Schmidt isn't trusted. It's all moving about. I just want simple 1 in, 1 out. Ampadu, no, not Ampadu. Strout's injured, right? Centre back can come in. Vober can go in there. Perfect. He's a left-sided centre back. We don't need to put him at left back. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm looking at. And people saying about like spending money. I've seen people say online today, we don't need to spend money. No one's saying we need to spend loads and loads of money. This is where it comes down to the recruitment team and trying to find good players on the continent that don't cost you 10, 15 million quid. Just like we did Tanaka, for example, from Bundesliga 2. You know, unreal. And this is what annoys me about this. People are saying when we're looking at Enzo Lefebvre and all these guys, like you said, we're not saying they're better than our players. I love Tanaka a bits. I love Ampadu. They're brilliant. They're excellent. I wouldn't change them for anyone. I think they're fantastic. But the fact of the matter is, by them doing that, they are improving. So say you're a runner, right? And you're the best runner at your school. You do 100 meters in 10 seconds, right? Sure, you can imagine that, Joe, because you're an ultimate athlete, right? 100 meters in 10 seconds, yeah? And the guys behind you are 10.5, but you chill out a bit. You're the best. And then in 3 months' time, another race suddenly is always a little closer, but you're still at 10 seconds. But you're like, no, I'm fine. I'm at the top. I'm on the top of my game. And then the race after that, they're quicker than you because you didn't take it seriously. It's kind of like that. You've got, once you're at the top, you've got to stay there and you have to improve. You have to become complacent.
Do you think realistically the teams around us are strengthening that much? I mean, Ashley Barnes.
Yeah. No, the thing, no, that's a bit naff in it, but you never know. He'll be one of them, Luke. He'll get 1 goal a season, right? He could get 1 goal and you just know it'll be a game
against us.
3 points. Yeah, something like that. Do you know what I mean? I've just got that in my head. But the Lefebvre one, honestly, I think that makes them. I think he's just. If they keep Bellingham, by the way, as well, because that midfield with Rigg in there is a joke. Bryn Law said on the Square Ball the other day, he said, I've got it here. He said, do everything you can to guarantee the outcome. I think that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
we are good. We are top of the league, but I just make sure we're up there. If that means bringing in 1 or 2, I'm not advocating for 3 or 4, by the way. 1 or 2 decent players, maybe a fullback or a centre back and a 10. And I think we look absolutely sound. That's all I'm really saying.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Can I raise a question, like just in general? So, say for instance, Wobber. If Wibbling Wobber was not a centre back, if we thought he were a left back, so let's just pretend he plays left back for us, doesn't he, more than he plays centre back? So he's not good enough to get in at centre back. If Ampadu ends up, I agree, I want Ampadu in the 6. If Ampadu ends up being the centre back, is that a better backup than anybody we could find as backup? Do we have a bit of a
Potentially.
problem with having genuinely decent players that can play in other positions better than anybody that we could actually have as a backup?
No, because we've also got Rothwell who could slip into, or Tanaka, whoever plays in there, can then slip into Ampadu's role. So what I get what you're saying. Could we get somebody better to slip into either of those roles? Do you mean?
Are we losing a lot?
Saying the person we
Ampadu's
bring
better
in
than
as
anyone we could
backup
sign.
isn't as good as Ampadu when he plays at centre.
When he plays centre back.
Yes.
Ampadu's a pretty good centre back. I know nobody wants him there, and I don't. I like him in that 6. And I wouldn't want him. I don't want him out the 6. But there has to be. That is a better backup. And then bringing Tanaka and playing Rothwell is a pretty good central 2, isn't it? Yeah. So in terms of, I know you're pulling Ampadu out there, but if that is not an excuse for me not to go and sign some players, I'd rather we did. But we do also have some pretty decent players that pretty much any other team in the league would take offers, wouldn't they?
Yeah, Man City do it. Man City. Rico Lewis is a fullback. He's been playing in centre defensive midfield. We're not the only club to do it. Even the elites do it. Do you know what I mean? It's not something new. And ultimately, I think that some players do have to be a little bit more versatile, and they naturally do have 2 positions. Now, I would say Ampadu has 2 positions that he excels in, and that is those 2 positions.
I just like him as a 6. Like,
no, I get it. I do.
So what I know, what I'm saying is, I want him there. Do you know what I mean? I don't want him at centre back. If we had an injury there, put Voba there, Ampadu stays in the 6, class. That's kind of the. To be honest, this would all help if Schmidt was trusted by the manager, because then you could just slot him at left back.
It stops
put Voba. Yeah, but my issue again is the right side, and I know left or right, but the manager. This is what the manager wants, right? He has a clear favourite on the right and the left. Ampadu is a left-sided. I don't think he'd really play him on the right side centre back. He's not done it yet. And in Italy, Ampadu played on the left side, so I think that's why he plays him there. And touchwood again, and luckily, Rodon's injury record is excellent, so we might be all right in this sense. But I'm just worried if he gets an injury for me. I don't know. Again, I'm looking at who goes there, and if it is Ampadu, I'm just not sure. I just want us to just bring someone in. Someone just goes there. Nice.
I'm Mateo Joseph there. He can do out, can't he?
True. Yeah. It's not like I say, it's not like a crisis. It's not terrible. I think
it's terrible, mate. Yeah. If I genuinely think if the 49ers,
I mean the squad now, Joe. I'm saying the squad now.
Well, the squad isn't terrible.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Sorry, the squad isn't terrible. But if we go through this full month and we don't bring anyone in, it's a joke. I don't have this bullshit that we're saving money for the Premier League. That's what they're doing, Joe. They're saving money for Premier League. It's bullshit. I think for me, the fact that we made the most money in the world, you know what I mean? Like, in the world, right? And we don't bring any players in January to bolster what is a very good squad. I think it's crazy. I think it is crazy. For me, we have a great squad. For me, arguably the best in the league. I've said that many a times. I've said it's more balanced than it is than it was last season. All these things can be true, and you can still want additions. Like, for those that will say, like, I can see it in the chat, oh, but we're top ball with this, with that. Well, so were Ipswich. And guess what? They did fucking business. They brought a striker, Ali Al-Hamadi, from wherever it was, Wimbledon, MK Dons, one of them two.
Wimbledon.
He barely played, but they still brought him in, and he touched grass and he made vital contributions. Kiefer Moore did exactly the same. Rothwell barely played at Southampton.
In fairness, Joe,
2 goals. Go on.
In fairness, Kiefer Moore was a replacement for George Hurst, who was out injured. So that was a like for like. George Hurst was long term. I think
we need a like for like for Patrick Bamford and Mateo Joseph, because neither of them are doing that.
But that was their starting striker. So what they did is they brought in a striker who was at that level, or if not better, for that level. We don't have, touch wood, any of our preferred 11 injured, do we? No. Apart from Junior Firpo, arguably.
Yeah.
But I think that's the point. I think we haven't yet. but we know it could happen in one international break or and there's one near the end of the season. If they
But that could have happened in the first half of the season, Lucky.
Well, it did with midfielders, didn't it? We lost 2. Luckily, we're actually good in that role. And we got
Gilavugi in, didn't we?
And that's why I love that signing. Like I said, he doesn't play much, but he's there if you need him. And I love that. And that's kind of all I'm really saying. Like, but the 10's different. I do think we need a different profile to Brendan, who can be a good player.
I agree.
For us. And I think that, but I know what you're saying, but we did it and I loved it. We brought Gilavugi in, free agent, different story, but we did it. We dealt with it. We were short there. We dealt with it. Brilliant. And I'm just don't leave yourself short. We have a really small squad and it's really good, but with 2 or 3 injuries, and hopefully we don't, but it could happen.
Yeah.
You're suddenly then going, right, we need to move this, and we don't have any wingers suddenly. You know what I mean? Because we know as well, Dan James can be injury prone, Solomon can be injury prone, Ramazan had injuries this year. They're fine, but my point being, other positions, fullbacks, injury prone, we've got to be careful. I just think.
I think there seems to be this notion as well, like that it's excuses for the manager. I saw a few comments. This is fucking right. If we just take a step back for a second, right? Forget who's pro fact, forget who's negative fact, because this is what happens, right? I'm a Leeds United fan first and foremost, over anything, right? I want to ensure that Leeds United go up. Do I think we've got the best manager? Yes, I do. For doing that, yeah. 100%. Do I think the squad? Ask yourself the question. Forget, for those that are telling me we've got depth in every single position, you're chatting shit. You're talking shit. Genuinely you are, because we don't have depth at centre-back. For me, we don't have depth at centre-back. We don't have depth at the 10. And you can have bodies, warm bodies, as Angus Kinnear's told us before, but if they're not doing their job, then you need to improve on them. Because we might as well have just kept, all these people that grief the old guy. We need to move them on. That's what I used to hear all the time. They're taking wages, we need to move them on. Well, why? Why? Because they were depth. They were just an extra body. But now all of a sudden everyone's gone, we've got enough.
So would you be happy with Jamie Shackleton on the bench for us then?
No. That's the point. I want decent depth. That's the point I'm making for those that have said we've got it. I don't think we have.
So when you're talking about depth, Joe, do you mean should we be going into the market now to buy somebody that's going to improve us immediately and potentially be Premiership ready, or do you want somebody to come in as second choice 10 or second choice, third choice centre back, or where are you with it? I do fully understand, but I don't see what side of the coin you're on.
So for me, I think we need a 10. We have to get a 10. We have to. If we do not get a 10, that is negligent. Because if Aronson gets injured, what's your solutions, Luke?
I don't get paid enough to make those decisions.
No, but what would you go to? What would you go to?
But I would probably look at Joe Rothwell or Gilavugi's played there, I think, before as well.
Gilavugi. Oh, that man! I want that big cumbersome dude running about in the tent.
Box.
You loved him. You said he was your favourite ever player.
but I'm not having him in.
But we've also. I mean, we haven't got another natural 10. So ideally, yes, Joe. But we've got to this stage. We've got to this stage without that. And I know Aronson hasn't been injured, and touchwood, he doesn't get injured. He's also chipped in with a fair amount of goals from 10, already surpassed Rutter and whatever of last season. We're only and that was by the halfway point. So no, I completely agree. But
right? If Pirro gets injured, then for you, Luke.
Yeah.
Then
then we play. No, we do. We play Harry Gray.
Oh yeah.
But no, I get it. I get it. But what? They only brought, look at Ipswich as an example last season. They only brought in Kiefer Moore because George Hurst without injured, with a long-term injury. That's the reason they brought Kiefer Moore. They brought El Hamadi as a backup to him. We've already got that. We've already got a backup that doesn't do very much and doesn't score goals like El Hamadi, and we've got somebody who does. They didn't have a backup to those two, though, did they? We've got two, as it stands, in Paddy Bamford. So we have got backup. Fair enough, they're not... But at what level do you want to bring back up in? You can't bring everybody in to be a starting striker and only start one of them every week, can you? Do you see what I mean?
No,
just in case he gets injured.
Yeah, I understand. I think the type of player you can probably attract is the player who kind of knows no matter what happens, if he plays so much this season, that next year he could be in the Premier League. You know, like Tanaka came in, and look, if we didn't have injuries there, he might not have been in the same right now. He might not have been. Gruev and Ampadu might still been in there. Gruev came in, he didn't play till January. Good player, played in the Bundesliga week in, week out, but knew that you're one league away from being in that Premier League. You know, so for that point, you can attract players, I think, even if it's not you 100% will start. It's you're in the squad, you're there to fight for your place. Players know that they could be in the Premier League next year. So I think that is an attractive thing. And I think you can get players in, even if they're not playing so much. They know that if they're part of this squad next year in the Premier League, they've got once in a lifetime chance. And this is where, they might step up. I agree with you. I don't think it'd be a good time to bring in kind of a pro that's done it. And I think it is kind of your smaller leagues, maybe 21 to 24-year-olds, that can do it, but he's kind of there, plays some minutes, get more minutes as the season goes on, understands the league, then next year in the Prem or something can really improve. Kind of like Asidor did. Sunderland, came in from, I think he's from, is it Zurich in Russia? He came in. He's on loan. Now he didn't start the season great, but he's looks. I watched him the other day. He was unbelievable. Really good striker. Looks like a really good striker. He's now scoring for fun. I think that's the type of profile you're looking for. Like when Tanaka came in, like when Agruev came in, because they weren't in the squad for the start. So for me, that's kind of the kind of, I guess, profile you're looking for. It's like I guess you could say Ramazani as well. When he came in, he didn't start until the injury of Solomon, did it? And then he took his chance. So I think you're kind of waiting, you kind of bring in that type of player who can be good enough, but he's all right knowing that you might have to wait a little bit.
Do you think, did any of you think we did enough last January?
I did say at the time we did, but in hindsight, I don't think so.
In hindsight, we didn't, did we?
Right.
No.
So we're on course for the same again.
I'm not trying to wind you up, Joe, but do you think it's
Chat are doing a good job at that, mate? Don't worry about that.
But do you think that's just on signings, like genuinely?
What, last season?
Well, just any this season or last season, I'd go with.
Last season was a big part of it. Yeah,
I
don't think the recruitment was.
But there was more. There was more at play. I can't help but, and I know I feel like I'm banging up the same old drum all the time, but the players have to. You have to get it over the line. We're top at league now. If nobody comes in, you got to pick your nads up, haven't you, and get it. Do you want to go to the Premier League, boys? Because a lot of you are running out of time. A lot of you are going nowhere. If this is as good as it's going to get for you, so let's get to the Premier League. Now that doesn't mean I don't want anybody coming in. I'm just the onus has to go. Like that's why I'm not. If Farke don't get anybody in, Farke will text someone in, won't he? Do we all agree on that? He's not going to be like, no. Not having him.
We brought Connor Robertson, didn't we? We brought Gilavugi.
We'll bring him in. So I don't understand, So I understand why then, Joe, you would be on at the 49ers because ultimately, but Farke's not putting a lot of pressure on it either, is he? There's at the start of each season, they must sit down and have a genuine plan about what they're going to do. And Farke knows. Farke must have made an agreement, or maybe he hasn't. But I just don't. It put quite a lot of pressure on at the start of the season. When we definitely needed players, like 100% needed players. And then they brought him in and he relaxed and he got calmer about it, didn't he? And now he's calm in this window, knowing that the 49ers, whether they will or not bring someone in, I don't know. But if the player that's in the plan or whatever comes up, or, if we have an injury like they showed with Gilavogi, they will do things. They will make... I'm not in defence of 49ers. I don't really have a dog in the fight or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I don't know what my point is there, but do you know what I'm saying?
I went off on one.
You can still right. The squad is quality, like I've maintained many times.
I love it. Yeah.
When it's all fit, it's the best in the league. But that still doesn't mean that we.
I'm not saying that.
We shouldn't add to it. I know you're not, bro. We still should add to it. We still should add to it.
But when you're looking at these teams who are strengthened around us, Sheffield United have lost, the young lad's name who's out for the season?
Arblaster.
They've lost Arblaster, so they're bringing in whoever they're bringing in midfield. These players, these teams that are strengthened and are strengthened for reasons. We haven't really.
They've brought them in anyway, though, bro.
Do you think? Do you think they'd have gone and spent money had they not had a first team starter injured?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Sheffield United were always
Yeah.
going to do bits. Yeah,
I
you could
thought it was
argue.
in, if I'm honest.
Did they need Ben Brereton Diaz, who's going to play on the left when they got
Well,
got
yeah,
him?
they move Hamer central then, can't they?
But then who's dropping out of the midfield because they're bringing in a midfielder as well?
Well,
They're on about getting
Arblos is out, isn't he? Hamer
Yeah,
will go into his preferred spot in the central defensive
they're
midfield.
getting
Then
4 or 5 players.
he's saying Hamer can play more than one position. That's not on, is it? He plays left wing and centre defensive midfield. What? Beep, 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 beep.
Do you know what it is as well? It's like it's form as well. We're assuming that with half of these players, this is none of them have ever played in a season this long, apart from the ones that were here last year, obviously. But the new lads, they've never done it. How do you know 35 games in, they're absolutely done, and they need to be switched out. That's Aronson. Oh, what can he do in 46 games? We've seen it in the Prem after kind of halfway mark. He fell off a cliff. Even in Germany last season, his middle of his season was bad. It was bad. He came in light at the end because the middle was so bad. The start was good. Now, that's again where someone gets an opportunity, because we're assuming that all these players are going to stay this good all season. But we know, we've seen it so many times, the latter end of the season, we will have a wobble. And it's whether they can get out of it. Now, you either get out of it by, you just do it. We did it under Bielsa. We had a bad run, didn't we, when we got out of it. We had experience in that team, like a lot of experience. In this one, it might just need, you come out, you come in, new player comes in, and there we go. We're fine. So it's like Burnley, like they've got a 32-man squad. And I don't want it that big, just to clarify. But the fact being, if someone does come out, they've got another all right player that can go in there, that can just tick them over. I don't want it 32, man. That's too much. Just one or two.
I'm going to totally contradict myself here. I do want to see us strengthen. Obviously, I want to see us get better players at this club, and I want to see Leeds be successful. I just don't think there's as much. I just don't think there needs to be as much of a head loss over it and at the stage that we're at. First of all, I think we maybe already got our finger in some pies, I think potentially. But we're not just going to bring people in for the sake of it, are we? We brought Gilavugi and we did our due diligence on him. And look at what he's had. Did you see him having a laugh with Willie Nonto and with the rest of them and see how he talks in his interviews? And he's the profile of player that we can bring in. We don't just want to bring somebody in for the sake of bringing them in because it adds an extra number or because they're a right centre-back by trade. Do you see what I mean?
But so that's where you're right. It's got to be someone that, when they are called upon, can come in and do a really good job, that can do what we need them to do. That's the point. They're probably not going to be as good as our starting 11, or they won't be at the start. They might get to that player. That's the facts of it. They probably won't be. Otherwise, we'd have brought them in the summer. But that doesn't mean they can't come in and surprise people and go, oh, he's quite good. It would I'm just scarred by this club not doing enough, and it annoys me, to be honest. So even in the Premier League season, we know when we brought Firpo and Dan James, and we all knew we needed more players in. I know we talk about the finances, but we needed more players, didn't we? And we failed the manager then. And I go back to the end of the window, right at the end of the window, it was a press conference with Farke when they mentioned the number 10, and he was literally saying, we do lack a big physical player in there, a big physical profile, which he's had at every single club he's been at. Roman Salai was linked, wasn't he? But he went to that other club instead. And then Angus Kinnear in the interview mentioned Buendia. I honestly think the manager has wanted a 10. I do think he's picky on it, and that is something that we can speak about. Maybe he's a little too picky with certain names that they give to him, but I honestly think he wants a different option there or another option. I genuinely think that.
Well, there was talk of Hamer, weren't there, at one stage? I know Hamer's preferred position isn't necessarily a 10, but I'm sure that's what we were signing him for, to play, because he can play a few positions, funnily enough. But just steaming.
I'm just, to be honest, I'm really, I don't, what's really frustrating is, like, I know I'm part of the FDL, Farke Defence League, but it's like that people, I'm getting excuses for Farke. I don't care that much about Farke to be trying to bring up excuses in January for end of season if he don't balls it up. If he balls us this season up, he goes. It's as simple as. He won't, though. But we need to help him. There's this thing of like, he shouldn't need any help. He's got all the tools. He doesn't. Otherwise, he wouldn't have asked for a 10 in the summer. He needs additions. I think, look, obviously, this suits my narrative. But like Liam says, when the Blades beat us, they got Dalmadine, Hogan, Ipswich, Al-Hamidi, Travis, Sarmiento, Moore. I'm sick to the back teeth of Leeds United not doing enough. And that's where I feel that we're at. We aren't going to do enough. If they're telling us it's a quiet window, I think it's crazy because I look at the top 6 and they'll all strengthen. We'll still be in with a hunt. But why should we just get by on, well, let's battle it out when, for me, you had a goalkeeper, you had a 10, and some other little bits that can, add or give you depth. Then we piss the league. We pissed the league. I've always said and maintained, I believe, 10-point gap, right? At the end of January, though, that'll be reviewed. And if Sunderland continue in their trajectory, and trust me when I say this, Ben Brereton Diaz will gobble up this league. So Sheffield United are stronger already. Burnley will get additions, and we will be like, oh, God, he's injured, so let's move him there. We've only got to get through 3 games playing Ampadu there and him there and him there, moving square pegs in round hole. We're just waiting for that player to come back. We shouldn't have to do that. We are Leeds United. We made the most money in fucking world football in the summer. Go get the bits that you need and get it over the line, and then we get Premier League. But I just think we're risking it. For what? Why? It's not our money, people. We should be saying to them, fucking put your hand in your pocket. Put your hand in your pocket and go get the players that we need. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. No, I agree. And
why should we be going? Why are we all debating on? Surely Solomon can do a job. Surely Nonto could do. Well, I'd play Rothwell there. I'd go for Tanaka in 10. Well, I'd go for Solomon. Why? Go get a fucking 10. Go get one.
I don't necessarily think that's what we're saying. What we're saying is actually playing Solomon in the 10 might be better than anybody we could attract or afford in this window.
But I don't think it would. But why though? Why?
Who then? Who?
Take him off the left where he's got the most dribbles per 90 in the league. Take him away from that.
I mean, all right, let's use
I'm
Ramazani.
not arguing with you. I'm just saying,
no.
Why do we need to do that, Luke? We should.
No, I don't think we should. Yeah, I don't think we should. But what I'm saying is, I think notoriously the January transfer window is a lot tougher than the summer. Notoriously.
See, I think that's bullshit as well. I'm sick to back teeth for hearing that. Everyone always says it. Everyone always says it.
Myth busting.
No, but everyone always says it, right? Everyone always says it, but we brought Rafinha in January.
Yeah.
Is he not the best player?
What did he go on and
is
do?
He not the best player you've seen probably in a Leeds United shirt for generations?
Certainly since a few, yeah. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
January, what I will say, January is it's harder in terms of
what comment is that? Didn't realise you were a technical director, Joe. What's that got to do with the price of
we bought Rafinha in August, Joe Blackburn says. I'm pretty sure was he
a summer signing?
It was a summer signing.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Well, I bought it. Anyway, Joe, I went with that. So
I believe in you for a second.
I still do. I'm like,
that's a fair point.
It is notoriously more difficult. Players, if you're looking to sign somebody for actual money, players' prices are inflated because people have seen your first half of the season. They know what you need to improve as a team. So people are going to look at Leeds United this summer and they're going to say, Leeds need a 10. They need somebody else who can do what Aronson does, but better. And they're going to say, right, if we've got a decent 10, let's use Hamer as an example. What was the bid we put in for him? 15 million in the summer?
We took piss.
Is it about 15 million? 15 million? They're going to want 25 million at this. That's what I mean by notoriously more difficult. Players' values are, and unless we can, I don't think that the loan market is out of the question for a 10. And looking at some players that aren't getting playing time, either younger players in the Premier League or players older generation. I'm sure Lockie can think of some whose contracts might be expiring. Players that can come and do. I don't want to throw you on the spotlight, but I mean, I don't know that much shit. I just talk what's seed. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know about everybody's contracts or who might be available. But there must be one or two players that actually are coming towards the end and actually think, you know what, I wouldn't mind getting Leeds up this season. Do you know what I mean? Or
What I
I've
will
just had
say
a quick.
on-
I've just had a quick look, lads. I mean, it's not Leeds United related, but Nemanja Vidic signed for Man United in January. Van Dijk signed for Liverpool in January. Luis Suarez signed for Liverpool in January.
And look at the money they paid for him.
But they were amazing players, though, weren't
Yeah, they were.
Yeah. What I will say on the January window, Luke's right in terms of inflated prices. If you're going to a top league, 100%, when the teams don't really need the money. But if you're looking at where we've got Snaka from, Bundesliga 2, you know, Scandinavia, where there's some absolute quality players, you know, where Gyökeres came from and all that. Leagues like that, where 2 or 3, 4 million is a lot. I do think it's there, the markets you probably need to be looking in. And there's some absolute quality in there. You know, Gyökeres
Weston McKennie, January signing. How about that then? Stick that in your pipe.
There. Yeah.
Look at him now, though. He's absolutely flying, isn't
I'm
he?
going to say you take him.
No, I hate him. mate.
Yeah, Vegas said there. Vegas said in chat, Cabal in the French second tier, we were linked with in the summer, quality player, really good technical player. Again, and that's a team in French second tier you could probably get for, honestly, I don't know, but I'm assuming 3 to 4, 5 million, similar to the Tanaka money. I don't think players cost that much the lower leagues you go. Now, obviously, the lower league means the more risk of can they step up to championship. But the championship, to be honest, lads, isn't as a whole great.
No,
our team's quality.
That's what
the
you're saying
league
about
isn't.
getting a younger lad in as well, won't it, Lockie? If we're getting
Yeah.
someone in 20 to 24, it's like, you know, there is some... That's kind of what I was saying about, you know, just getting anyone in. It's like if you're getting someone in that, you know, might not be able to make the step to Prem, but are going to definitely be a backup job, like, you know, and they actually have ambition to get to the Prem. The problem I'm finding is, you know, trying to drag somebody out from the Premier League. I know you can get the odd one, but they're going to come and go, well, to get an opportunity to go play in Prem, well, they're already a second choice in the Prem. So it is a much more difficult task. The only thing I'd say about the January window as well, Joe, I know you're the mythbuster, but there must be a smaller pool. Things have changed, haven't they? So you're quite literally mid-season. So there's team players that are playing, players that actually quite like the manager, think I'm going to get some more opportunities. I've got enough minutes, I'm doing it, I'm whatever. I've got, they start to plan their own. You're planning a season, don't you? It's rare, really, that you can start ripping people out. You know, is there smaller pool to pick from in January?
Absolutely.
I agree with you to some point that it's a lot of jargon where it's just a really difficult window. I just don't think a lot of clubs need to do much in January as well. So there's not as much going on, is there? That's all it is.
But then on the other hand to that as well, Jack, you have there you go. You have players who are not favoured at their clubs and know for a fact that they want to leave. Do you know what I mean? In the summer, they're not sure are they part of the plan.
Yeah.
In January, a lot of players know that. And those are the kind of ones like Lafay, for example. Obviously, there's connection with the manager, but he weren't playing at Roma. If he were playing, he wouldn't have come, obviously.
Yeah.
But he weren't playing, so they brought him in. And I think that's the kind of situation you have to look at. And a lot of the guys, you know, I named some names on my video today of better players that I've been a bit cheeky with, you probably won't get, but they're not playing. And they could be 6 months off Premier League. You know what I mean? That's what you kind of have to look at. So
Yeah.
I agree. It is harder in the sense that you have to work a lot harder. Everyone has to work harder to try and find the right players. But there's also players that know they're not part of the squad they're in, so they want to leave actively. So it's tricky in that sense. But is it impossible? Absolutely not. You can get deals, 100%.
Also, it's sort of like situational as well, isn't it? So, like, you know, somebody said Rutter. Well, Rutter's ended up being decent, hasn't he? And he plays for Brighton. He's doing a decent job. If Rutter had come and gone, he'd have been one of the worst. It'd have just been like, because you're coming into a side, you don't really know what you're coming into. They're a lot more highlighted because the teams are. I bet there's some so horrendous signings in summer that just don't really just sort of just get forgotten about and they just sit on
Every
bench.
signing's a risk, innit? Look
I just mean there'll be horrendous ones. It's just
around
the
them.
January ones really get highlighted because they come in, they don't quite suit it straight away.
Yeah.
They've got to get on with it immediately.
Yeah.
Then they end up on bench. Then we get relegated, and then they go. Do you know what I mean? It's like what were all that about? So it's just highlighted more. That's all it is. It's a shorter time frame for them to actually do something once they get here, isn't it?
And I was having a look.
Go on, sorry, Lockie, mate. I
was just going to say, I was looking through, I was proper looking for number 10s in the Prem that I think are realistic that we could get. And honestly, lads, there's hardly any. It is such a tough market. Like the only one that would be an unbelievable, like Lafay level would be a Buendia. That is the only one I can think of. But I think that's ridiculous, to be honest, because he don't want to come back. The Farker connection's there, and that's the only real thing that makes you go, you never know. But yeah, no chance for me. I will be wrong on that, hopefully. I do hope I'm wrong on that. But it is the 10 in the Prem, honestly. Look, I don't know any personally. I think it'll be just look for every team. You're looking, going, yeah, no, too good. He's playing. It is a tough one. It's a tough position. I agree with that. It's very tough.
I'm just trying to see what deals have been done so far in the league. So Burnley have brought in 2. Oliver Sonny, is it? How was it? How do you pronounce it? Is it Sonny? Is it the right back?
I've no idea how you pronounce it, mate. That's Andre.
Yeah.
I think it's Son.
Yeah. Ashley Barnes. Just looking at our competition, really. Sorry, I'm yawning for. Oh God. So there's Sheffield United. Yeah, they've not got any over the line as of yet. Maybe I am. Sunderland haven't as of yet. Maybe I am. Overreacting, but
I think you bang on though, Jad. I certainly don't want to come across as though I don't want anybody in or whatever. 100%. Like, but when you went on your rampage, and it was inspiring. So it's like get it over the line, because I was putting it on the players, but I'm putting it on just get it, like you're saying. Just go out, get to B&Q, get the little bits and bobs that you need, and like finish the job so that it don't fall to bits. It's so nearly done, isn't it? There's just and it's above me. It's over me. It's not my. I don't get paid to do it, like Luke said.
Yeah,
it's like just go and get the job done, and then we'll all be like, crack on with it.
And that's it. That's the key thing for me. Like, obviously, it has to be the right player. Let me just say that, obviously. But that player, for whatever reason, might not play that much. But in the last 3 games, might get a game and might score 2 goals. Like Sarmiento, for example, who I'm not saying him, by the way, but he came in Ipswich. He didn't do a lot, but he scored 2 huge goals that got them massive points.
3 huge goals.
Well.
He got him a draw, didn't he, as well, against Leicester?
There's that worldie one there where he whipped it in top corner as well. Yeah. Brooks as well at Southampton. Didn't play all that much. Came in though and played an impact. Got goals and assists. Even what's the lad at Ipswich? Not Moore, the other lad. I forget his name.
Sarmiento, man. Little rat.
No, the striker. Sorry.
Ali Al-Hamadi.
Yes, that's the one. I keep forgetting his name. I think he got 2 or 3. That give them a point.
4, actually.
Yeah, this is what I mean. These are just the little marginal gains that help.
Whereas at the minute we're on Pirro, and then we have Joseph run around for a bit. Do you know what I mean? Though, like it's true, and I just think
it's a lot of expectation. He's a young man. He's inexperienced as well. This is his first real full season. Like, it's a lot of pressure on him, and I don't think people realise that. People just think he's the answer. Play him. Look at Delap. You can't. They're the same age, by the way. People are comparing him to Delap's development. They're the same age, and Delap's doing it in the Premier League. People develop at different ages. He's a young man. He's very talented. I like Matteo Joseph a lot, but he's a young man. He's inexperienced. He needs time. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of games. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm just going to get some super chats in and see what people saying. So Ethan, who's been a member for 44 months, that's insane, isn't it? What a guy. I just watched Locke's video, great video, and keep it working. I really hope Leeds sign Pavel Sulch, is it? Is that what I say it? What player he is, just watched his highlights. So there, big up to Ethan. Sean says, Joe, it's not negligent. We have backup in each position, bar the number 10. Moshin Ramazan says, Darlow deserves a run of games before we start saying he's not good enough. Yeah, I don't think any of us have said he's not good enough, have we? Or do we think he's good enough? You have, yeah? He was good at Hull. He was good at Hull.
I called him the Welsh Rachubka.
I've seen that, actually. Yeah.
Are
you not confident at all with him being the number 1?
I honestly, I would rather play Alex Cairns, I think. Give him a go. He was absolutely on fire against us for Salford in that FA Cup game. And why not? I mean, I know he has been brought in for a homegrown quota, but it's a cup game, and I know that he probably won't because Darlow is the number 2, and if he's having question marks against Mesley, he's going to play Darlow. But I wouldn't mind seeing him. Honestly, he had a right game against us. But he's a National League goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's not at this level.
Yeah, if that Cairns guy,
a bit tongue in cheek, like, you know what I
mean? I'm up for them all, like, getting on, and they can have an argument. They're all adults. They can all fall out.
Play 3 goalkeepers.
I know, but if Darlow doesn't come in as the second keeper, I actually think I don't even know where he goes from that. I think he leave. I think I don't leave. He just goes.
Yeah,
I've had enough. I've had enough of this because he did come in for the number one. He'd be like, "Are you taking the mick out of me?" It'd just
must have been what Schmidt felt like when Voba and Ampadu came on each fullback in front of him.
Let Matteo Joseph there.
I think there's this narrative doing the rounds as well. I don't know what you folks think on this because I maybe there is something in it, but there seems to be this notion now that Schmidt and Ramazani are not being played because they weren't Farke signings. I think that seems to be the latest thing, and which I just don't agree with. Solomon's lit it up on it last few weeks, so Ramazani's struggling to get in. Yeah, but was it because of Solomon's injury, though? Is their point now? I think.
Why would Farke care about that? I understand it potentially be bitter if they're a bit shit, so it might be a bit harsh on them. But he's not now not playing Ramazani because he wasn't his signing, even if that is the case. Ramazani's been brilliant for us.
Yeah,
believe me, we'll use him. Because I don't buy into this Farke stubborn thing. They're all a bit stubborn.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. That what? So he's going to be that stubborn that he don't want to get us promoted to Premier League. Then
yeah, exactly.
It's just silly. He'll do whatever he thinks is best. Whether people think that's right or not, whether you can think he's making the wrong decisions. That's fine. But he's doing it because he thinks it's for the best. He doesn't keep doing these substitutions at 70 minutes just to piss us all off. He's doing that because he genuinely thinks that's the best thing. And we are top of the league. And, his subs are frustrating. I don't want to talk about his subs. I know that's not why we're here, but I want him to talk about it. I can't be bothered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's going to do the right thing or what he thinks is the right thing.
100%.
And the fact is, Jack, you're right. And that comes from training. And the fact of the matter is, when you're not starting... He sees him every day. You have to do more than the guy who's already starting to get in the team. That's usually how it works. I'm not saying he's not doing anything. Competition might be fine. Exactly.
We'd be mourning if there was no competition on the wings and we had the same players playing week in, week out. Yeah, now we've got competition. Somebody's not started. It's because he don't like them, or they're not training hard enough. Or I seen somebody even say because he's racist earlier. I seen that.
No way.
Honestly, you're not playing him because it's to do with race. Honestly, some of our fans are absolutely mental.
Yeah, I didn't know they were racist, though, to be fair. I had no idea.
I don't think he is, Jack. That's how that
you're saying he's not? I thought he might be.
And, lads, the biggest one about this Ramazani stuff is Solomon's playing really well. So
yeah.
I get it.
I've got a question for you, Joe. You said very recently that we will win the league comfortably.
Yeah.
What has changed so much between the 1st of January and now? That
I don't say we won't win the league.
You still think we'll win the league, even if we don't strengthen?
It depends. I will have to assess it at the end of January, Luke.
Just to see what the other rounders do?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. For me, as it stands, we're sound, right? I said I don't think Burnley have what it takes because, for me, Burnley don't score enough, right? They just don't score enough. They don't create enough, right? They'll keep many clean sheets. Burnley will win the playoffs. The Sheffield United thing worries me, I can't lie, because they have Chris Wilder. He knows what it takes to get out of this league. And probably, like Jamie said, we'll probably still get top 2. I just don't like the idea of us being in a tussle. This season, we should not be in a tussle. We should be dominating the league. We should be winning it comfortably. I don't want, and this is where...
Based on what though, Joe? Based on having the best squad?
Best squad, yeah, and the manager, right? But what I don't want, Luke, is a 4-way tussle now for 2 spots.
Yeah.
Because if we enter a 4-way tussle, we don't come out on top. The pressure becomes too much and they drop the ball. It always happens. It always happens. I'm telling you now, if we get into a 4-way tussle to the last day, we will not get top 2. It is not our way because it's Leeds United, man. Honestly.
It's only happened twice, though, hasn't it?
It's the Leeds United way.
It is, but it's not.
The only thing I'll hold on to them will be the fact that Liverpool win the Prem, because every time Liverpool win the top league, we win the second division. But yeah, the nerves, Jamie. The nerves. That's probably it. I'm probably getting nervous and.
Do you know what it is, Joe? Right,
squeaky
honestly,
bum
I
time
think
and that.
I think even if we bring in some 1 or 2 quality players, I still think it'll go to the last 3 or 4 games.
It shouldn't. It
I
shouldn't.
do. I think it will. I just think it will. I don't know.
It
I
shouldn't.
still, Jamie, it hasn't happened too many times. It's happened twice, once under Bielsa and once under Farker last season. It's not, this thing has not happened 20 times. It's not something, we're not Spursy. I know we like to think of ourselves as being a little bit Leedsy at times, but realism is, because it's happened twice in recent history, people think it's something that's happened forever. It isn't. Do you know what I mean? It just simply isn't.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
people saying isn't that the manager?
Maybe 3 times actually. I might be eating my words after this season. Maybe it's a bit.
I remember, yeah. But it's accountability as well, Joe. Like people saying the manager, the players, it's even. They both got to do the stuff. If we got go, they've all failed. Why there's this obsession that it's one or the other? It's a flipping team game, man. I've been part of teams that failed. Could I have done better as a player and as a coach at times? Absolutely. We'll reflect on that and go, yeah, I could have done better. And if everyone had that mentality where at the end of the season, you can all look and go, we should have done this and this better, you know what you do next year, and that's how you improve, right? But it's not just one person's fault. Unfortunately, in football, the manager gets sacked when things aren't going right. That's the way it is. It doesn't mean they were always in the wrong, because the players still have to do what the manager wants. Now, you're assuming that the players are doing exactly what the manager wants all the time, every second, which isn't true. Most of the time they don't. And that's why managers are always constantly, every one of them, by the way, doing instructions on the side, because the player's not doing what they want. Otherwise, they won't sit, they just sit down or they'd be in the stands like they're doing rugby, for example. Football players are hard to work with. And I can't imagine what they're like at that level. I can't imagine it.
Can I ask you a question, Luke, and to the rest of the panel? If we don't go up, right, and we don't buy anyone this window, now, of course, Farker will take the flak for it, but do you not start to question the board as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Ultimately, if we don't get promoted this season with the squad and the manager that we've got, questions have to be asked of everybody. Quite frankly. That's not just Farker, that's not just the board, that's the playing staff as well. Because
Farker will get sacked, we know that.
Of course he will. Of course he will. But ultimately, you've said it, I've said it. We have got the best squad in terms of depth within this league now. That's without players adding signings this particular window. And as it stands, we probably, in an alternate universe, we probably, minus a couple of Melee howlers, would be 6-9 points clear potentially this season.
True.
Yeah.
Give me that line again from Bryn, Ben. Lock.
I've got it right here. Do everything you can to guarantee the outcome, is what he said.
And that's where I'm at. Just get it done, man.
Yeah.
Get it done. At least get me a 10. At least get me a 10, because that is one
position. Would you be happy, Joe, if we get a decent player
If we get a 10, then yeah, I probably would. Because I look everywhere else, and maybe Sean makes a good point. I would prefer us to not have to play square pegs in round holes and move in there and move that there. But if you get a 10, because we can't expect Brendan to be at these levels for the rest of the season. And
burnt out his second. He burnt out that second half of season under
Marsh, exactly.
Under Marsh, didn't he?
He did last year as well, Luke, in Bundesliga as well. He weren't good for the second middle half of the season. He was bad.
But hopefully they know this, and I'm holding hope that we do. Yeah. Obviously, that would be my preferred. If we only make one sign, I'm with you, Joe. It has to be a 10. It simply has to be, because we have no other options when faced with these Prestons and other teams that are quite happy just to sit back and suck it up and potentially get us on the break.
Why wouldn't you, like Sai G said here, them little Ipswich could secure that money. Do you know tonight, fucking Ipswich have agreed a deal for Jadon Philogene, bam, 25 million, whatever it is, done. It's like, we should be there. We should be up there, lads, splashing that cash going, oh, we've just signed him, I can't wait to watch him play and all that sort of jazz. We won't even fucking buy what we need in this division, man.
I just want to wake up, Joe, and just look at online, and there's Fabrizio Romano or someone like that saying Leeds United, and I'm just go, ooh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I want. Yeah. Oh, nice. Good player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all I will say is that they have been quite good up to now on that 49ers, in fairness.
We have. Yeah.
So
and signings have been good.
Give them the chance.
Signings have been good.
Yeah. Oh,
Very
that's
That's what I'm saying. I'm just on about the signings, really.
Yeah.
They have been good. So, and they've all, you know, with rare exceptions, like there always is. If you get about 50% good, 50% pap, I think you're doing quite well. And we're better than that, to be fair with them. I mean, we've got some ace players.
I don't know about you, but I don't think that chant will go down well at Stadium of Light. Do, Enzo Lafiti. Do. Needs work, Reese. Needs work.
And just on what you said, Jack, you're right in the fact that most signings have been good. So get 1 or 2 in because they must be quite good.
Well, they're good at it, aren't they? Yeah, so let's keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, just get one. Just whatever, innit?
But my point is as well that they may very well do, and then we're sort of like, well, fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's all in vain.
We've a couple more super chats. Member for 10 months, my good friend Ryan from over in the States says, how would you guys sell the Leeds project to a player to come into the Championship? Are we looking for better players or just extra bodies? How would I sell it? I'd just say, this is Leeds United. I'd go speak to Gilly Vogue. He'll tell you all about it.
Yeah. Get him on the phone, wouldn't you? It's straight away.
Honestly, when he said Leeds United, I say, wow.
Say you're a player who's looking to play in the Premier League, but you're in a league where Premier League teams don't want to take a risk on them, then they look for the Championship. But what they look for is top-tier Championship teams. Now, that being, we are a huge one in this league. If you're top of the league now in January, which we are, and a player's looking at that and he's got a few choices up there, he's going, I want to go to Leeds. You know, initially that helps. Look at where you are in the league. You're 3 or 4 months off the Premier League football. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is a huge pull there, definitely.
One thing we haven't really,
sixth, maybe not.
One thing we haven't really considered is: are these teams around us? Are they going to get poached? Are they going to lose anybody? Because I stand quite firm that we won't sell anybody of any value this window. Whereas there's talk of Joe Bellingham, going. And that's ultimately whether they bring in whatever his Lepre or whatever his name is, Grand Prix name, Lecre, is it? Lafie, and he's going to be playing for Lebris.
Yeah.
Lafie and Lebris, yeah.
Sorry, I know Andrea doesn't like it when we don't pronounce it right. So if he's watching this, I apologise.
But yeah, that's a perspective we've not really we've not even taken into consideration. We're not going to lose anybody of any substance and any value to our first team. I don't feel. I think we'll stand very, very, very strong on our position there. Whereas actually, the teams around us aren't in a similar position. So and Sheffield United, there was talk of them skint at the start of the season. They've gone out and splashed cash.
The big one as well, actually, just being reminded there by Johnny. Trafford's on his way. Well, could be on his way to Newcastle. That's a massive.
Yeah.
That's huge. And Dubravka's going to Saudi, so I think,
sign Melier.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
If that happens, even more reason for us just to bring 1 or 2 in to add insult to injury on when they've lost. Because Luke's right, we probably will keep everyone, which is class. So just bring 1 or 2 in. They lose some players, they bring some in, evens it out. We add 2 and lose none. Class, you know what I mean?
100%. Matt Leeds says, Joseph is not good enough currently as a backup. Remember when Joffrey was doing it in the Prem and everyone wanted him starting? Why can't we get a loan? To be honest, I'm not. I don't know. I don't know on the 9. I don't know on the 9. I think what's more frustrating, it's like those that want Joseph to start ahead of Pirro right now and week in, week out and all that. I'm not sure.
Are you not sure, Joe? Because do you think Joseph might still have a period in the season where he does?
He's a quality player. He's going to be quality. He's going to be.
So is that why you're not sure? Because you think we might get a glimpse of it?
Yeah, we might do. Yeah. I just think at the minute, every big chance he's had, he's snatching at him, man.
Yeah.
That's confidence in it.
Yeah, he's putting too much.
And
it's one where it came across, mate, on his left foot of a week, man. He just volleyed it out at South Stand. It was like, what are you doing, man?
And there was a header earlier on in the season as well. Dan James, it was put on a plate for him. You know, and that will come. I don't doubt. We've seen what he can do for Spain or Spanish under 21s. I don't think anybody's ever is doubting his potential. But as a starting number 9 in this league, he is not ready. As a backup, yes, and that is what he is.
I would just say though, to be fair, sorry, dude.
It's all right.
As much as I can see Joseph's potential, he looks quality, all that stuff. It doesn't mean that's an eventuality though, is it? Doesn't mean he's going to reach anywhere near. And for some reason, Joffrey gets a lot more stick as though he's had. Joseph had a long time at the start of the season where he wasn't scoring goals. He played all right, to be fair to him. He chipped in with a few assists and he was busy and stuff. Geldat was in the Prem. He was coming in. We'd never played for the Championship. Then we went to shit, and I don't know why they get compared. Really, I don't think Joseph is guaranteed to actually fulfil anything. There's loads of players that are very similar. They're all quality footballers, aren't they, in terms of bringing ball down and getting about a bit. He's a young lad, full of it. So I don't know. There's a long way to go for Joseph, and he seems a decent enough lad.
Think about it, right? Who's had more exposure to football? Joe Gelhardt has. He's 22-year-old. That's similar age. People forget this. Nonto's 21. Everyone's like, "Oh, Joseph's mad," which he is. I get it. I hear it.
He's less inexperienced in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there was a reason Joffrey was perceived to be ahead of, and Joseph was playing in the 21s when we were
Greenwood,
and Joffrey was getting odd minutes, and there's a reason why Nonto was starting for us in the Prem, and again Joseph was in with the 21s, and now all of a sudden it's like boom. And listen, I'm being hypocritical myself because I said he'd be top scorer this season after seeing him in pre-season. He looked a different player, but I think a lot of that is coming with pressure. I think it is coming with the pressure of playing Leeds United full stadium, because apart from the Chelsea game where you could argue maybe there wasn't much pressure, it's I'm playing the shackles are off. When this season, when the pressure's been on, he's not been amazing, has he? If we're being honest.
And I wish other players could get the benefit of having one decent game in a cup away at Chelsea, and then just going like, and then we're just still on about. I know you're not saying that, Joe, but the amount of people that just say, "Look what he did at Chelsea." Like, what? Why are we talking about what he did at Chelsea? Why does nobody else get that leeway? Sometimes it's just your game, and everything you touch is gold dust, and everything goes in. And then it hasn't been the case since. I'm certainly not slagging Joseph off. I think he's ace, but he does need to do something himself. It's not, none of us can do it for him. He has had. It's not like Farke's not giving him any opportunities.
No. How would you feel if we didn't manage to bring a 10 in, but we recalled Sam Greenwood?
No, shit.
No. He's doing all right at Preston, to be fair, but that's his level, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
lower champ side. But as a backup, and that we say we're looking for a backup, or he's not going to necessarily improve as dead balls. Great dead ball expert.
That's a myth because I've not seen that in the Leeds United.
The myth buster.
To be fair, I'm on board with that myth because
I've not seen it, man.
Oh, I am.
Did he score a proper
and everybody, all my mates in Boozer used to be like, "Oh, he's on, Greenwood's on," and it's like, because we'd won a free kick round edge, but like, get him on it, like. Well, how many more of these do you have to watch before you just go, he might not be that good at these, Like, when do you know what I mean? It got mental to me.
It was, because every time he came on, it was like, oh, this is
get a free kick, go down. And it's like, no, stay up.
The commentators would big it up, but the commentators were going, oh, he's over this. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's the set piece taker. Like, oh,
what's going to happen? Could I just, I was just going to mention something about Joseph, Joe, if that's all right.
Yeah, man.
What I don't like, and look, people on Twitter, I don't know why I bother, but it's so Matteo Joseph isn't playing great currently, right? But they're clamouring for to come in. Same with Ramazani, right? Yeah, one bad game from Aronson, one bad game from Solomon, one bad game from someone else. Get them out. And then they're the ones. Yeah. Where's the equality here? You know what I mean? If a player's playing bad, they don't play. If they're playing good, they play. That's how it works. Ramazani came in off a bad injury. Well, 4 weeks, I think he was out, missed 5 or 6 games. He wasn't going to be ready. I think he came in too early to that game. You could tell. Not slagging him off for that. He wasn't ready. He was too early. Why do you suddenly think now, two weeks later, he's fully match fit and can play 90 minutes over a guy who's playing really well? Just accept that the guy's playing really well. Look, Dan James wasn't great the other day, but let's be honest, after this break, he's going to be immense because, once he's got that break, he'll be fine. Just wait and be patient. No one hates the player. Fat doesn't hate the player. He likes the player. That's why he played him. That's why he kept playing him. Even when Finger came back, he still played him until he was injured. It doesn't.
That's not true either, is it? That's not true.
Well, yeah. Well, Damar's got a clown on.
And also, even if that was true, you have to give him. You have to give him that a little bit. So James hasn't been great for the past couple of games. If you're just going to chuck him out, just drag him out, just because you say we've got the best winger in the world on the bench, it's like that's
Isn't
no
Demar-
good, is it? James,
Yeah, isn't
James
Demar
has earned a bad game, really. That's how it works. And if he has a few, he'll switch it up.
Yeah. Isn't Demar emphasising the point that we need another 10 then?
We got you, Demar. He's got him. He's got him. Demar just comes into grief. Man, he loves it. Honestly, he loves it.
He loves it.
Opinions. Wow, you get shut up, Demar. Man. You telling me I had a good point? You okay, Joe? Love you, lad. Great stream. Nah, I mustn't be, mate. If I said you had a good point, I'm not to bang my head. Let's smash them likes. We should have learned from last year in January. Get players in and compete. That's where I'm at as well, man. Rick says, stop with the sentimental United comments. Let's call a spade and say who's not good enough for Leeds United. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
Sentimental.
Is that to us?
I don't know.
I don't know, but it's probably to me. I always get this sentimental United thing. People do not know me.
How dare you like
players
players
about now?
How dare you love your
Ridiculous.
club and the players who play for it? How dare
It's
you?
just mad. It's mental. I love more than the club. It's that it means so much more to me than that. It's not just a game of football. Like, I love the place. I love everything about it. Don't get me rambling on about Leeds, but it's not just the football club. It massively helps. I support the football team, but I find it depressing thinking that there's a French lad that's come over who's a big giant who I want to love the city, and then is getting absolutely abused and can't wait to leave the city. That honestly, it gets to me. That I just think, was that your experience of Leeds United, like Yorkshire, Leeds people? Like, I don't like it. I can't help it. That's why That's why my instinct would be to defend him. I don't know him. He don't know me.
That was kind of similar for Rutter with me, Jack. You know when Rutter came in,
do a diss track to all haters, haters.
You know when Rutter came in and he was getting battered, and then he came in the championship and he didn't start great, and he was still getting cheers and stuff. But then when you see him play well and he starts to love it and enjoy playing for you, you feel something, don't you?
Yeah,
fully.
You feel he's enjoying his time here, and it's like, Yids up, let's get to having it. Let's get some money spent on me, lad.
I love it. Yeah, definitely. Here, boys, we've overrun, but it's been a great stream tonight. I've really enjoyed it. Yeah, listen, opinions, loads of them. It's been quite vitriolic in the chat. We've had a little debate here and there on here as well. But I guess, yeah, we'll wait. We'll have to wait and see how the cookie crumbles on January the 31st. And hopefully Leeds United have brought some players in. We play Harrogate at the weekend. Should be a chance to have a look at those that are on the periphery. Yeah, same. And do you know what? There's no pressure on it. I'm quite relaxed. Because now the turn of the year comes, season finishes in May, and it's just pressure after pressure.
I'm going to see Schmidt put an absolute world-class performance against Harrogate and then be all convinced he's the one.
Well, that is for sure. If he doesn't start that game,
it's game over.
Even Brady can score in the cup, man, for God's sake. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Even Ampadu can. You know?
This time last year was Paddy's banger, wasn't it?
If Schmidt doesn't start and Keynes does, Schmidt and Darlow they'll be off straight to Boozer, won't they? They'll be in alehouse together.
Under 21's left back comes in.
Yeah.
Right, folks, I think we'll leave it there. Hour and 24 minutes. We've done a nice solid setting there. There'll be something tomorrow. What day is it tomorrow? Thursday. I think it's Presser tomorrow, isn't it?
Aye.
Presser tomorrow.
Half one, I think. Yeah.
Is it half one? Well, we'll react to that. He'll no doubt be asked about transfers for sure. So I mean, he won't give us out. He never does, to be honest. But we can hope. I hope he don't say it's quiet though, because I don't think I can deal with it. I need something. I need something. Anyway, we'll end it there. Before I do though, actually, sorry. There is Joe Blackburn has done a video where he's done like season awards. Year awards 2024. I'm actually presenting an award So actually, I'm not like going to be there, or it's all pre-record. Just shooting off now to present an award. But yeah, so go check that out. 2024 awards.
It's already pre-recorded. I didn't win out, did I? For God's sake.
No, it's for players. It's for players. Yeah. I think he got a few players actually to accept their awards, maybe. So make sure you go check that out, folks. I've also put a redirect on for this for my good friend Dan Potts over at the 12th Man. He's doing a podcast debate show, so go check out that as well. Go check out the number 10 video with your man, Mr. Ben Locke. He's smashing the content out at the minute.
Cheers, mate.
Go check out Jack City Bitch. I don't know why I did that. Jack City Bitch, and of course, City of Leeds fans. I actually wake up to Jack City now on a morning. I have him at my alarm. I'm eating. Make sure you. I've gone all laggy now. Go check out Ought to Know Better and Luke if you just want to laugh at someone's ramblings on Twitter, because honestly, it's like a soap opera, man. I just love them threads. Just go through, just see him going for it. It's quality. But yeah, Joe Blackburn, go check that out for the 2024 awards, player awards. And I'll see you at some point tomorrow. Peace out, people. Bye-bye.